The most dangerous sound in the world isn't a gunshot. It's the silence of your furnace clicking off at 3 a.m. when it's 10 degrees below zero outside. You wake up, you see your breath in the moonlight, and you realise the hum of the refrigerator is gone too. The streetlights are dead. The grid didn't just stumble, it collapsed. Most people think survival is about fighting off looters or hunting deer. It's not. Survival is about physics. It's about thermodynamics. And right now, your house is bleeding heat into the void. If you are waking up to this silence, you have already failed. You missed the window. You missed the golden hour. Today, we are going to talk about the specific tactical protocol for recognising when a city is about to freeze to death, and how to be the one pulling out of the driveway while your neighbours are still arguing about whether to buy extra milk. This isn't a weather report. This is an extraction plan. Let's look at the battlefield. Texas, 2021. This wasn't the apocalypse. It was a cold front. But because the infrastructure wasn't hardened, it became a mass casualty event. Hundreds died, not from violence, but from hypothermia in their own bedrooms and carbon monoxide poisoning in their garages. I want you to visualise a specific scenario. A family in a high-rise apartment in Austin. The elevators are dead. The water pipes have burst in the ceiling, flooding the hallway, which then freezes into a sheet of ice. They have electric heat, no backup. They are trapped in a glass box in the sky that is rapidly reaching ambient temperature. They waited too long. They assumed the power would cycle back on. They assumed the authorities had a handle on the grid load. They didn't. By the time they realised the heat wasn't coming back, the roads were a skating rink of black ice and abandoned vehicles. They were pinned down. That is the trap. The Golden Hour Protocol is designed to ensure you never step foot in that trap. The golden hour in trauma medicine is the 60-minute window where surgical intervention has the highest chance of saving a life. In a grid-down winter scenario, the golden hour is the window of time between the official warning and the physical lockup. It is the period where the roads are dry, the gas stations still have fuel, and the panic hasn't hit the masses yet. It usually occurs 24 to 36 hours before the first snowflake hits the pavement. It feels wrong to leave during the golden hour. The sun might be shining, the traffic is light. You feel crazy packing the car when the neighbours are mowing their lawns. But that cognitive dissonance is what kills people. If you wait until you see snow, you are competing with every other panic-stricken driver on the road. You are fighting physics and the herd simultaneously. We don't fight fair. We leave early. To hit this window, you need good intel. You cannot rely on the 6 p.m. news. By the time the anchor tells you to prepare, the grocery store shelves are already bare. You need to be looking at the raw data. We are looking for a specific triad of signals. First, the high confidence forecast. I'm not talking about chance of snow. I'm looking for sustained sub-freezing temperatures for more than 48 hours. If the temperature isn't going to rise above freezing during the day, the grid keeps accumulating stress. Ice doesn't melt, lines snap. Second, look at the dew point spread. If you see a forecast for freezing rain or ice storms, that is an immediate force multiplier for danger. Ice brings down trees. Trees bring down lines. Snow is an inconvenience. Ice is a grid killer. Third, and most importantly, watch the grid operator's language. If you see terms like voluntary conservation, tight margins, or rotating outages appearing in the subtle press releases of your utility provider, that is your tactical alert. That means they are already redlining. Most of you are listening to this, nodding along, thinking you're ready because you've bought a case of water and some candles. Let me be blunt. That is false confidence. You are guessing. In a survival situation, guessing gets your family killed. You need to know exactly how long your caloric intake will last when you're burning 30% more energy just to stay warm. You need to know your water sanitation limits. I built the survival score calculator for this exact reason. It takes your inventory, your location, and your family size, and it gives you a hard number. It tells you if you have 14 days of life support or 4 days. It's not a game. It's the math that determines if you make it. Stop hoping you have enough. Know you have enough. Go to protocolsurvival.com right now. Run your numbers. The calculator is free to try. Don't wait until the lights go out to realise you're short on ammo or antibiotics. Once you have the signals, you have to make the call. This is the hardest part for most people. The decision to bug out or harden in place must be made before the first drop of precipitation falls. You cannot wait and see. If you live in a modern apartment complex with electric heat, electric stove and elevators, and the forecast calls for 3 days of sub-freezing temps with ice, you are in a death trap. You need to leave. If you have a standalone home with a wood stove, a cord of seasoned oak, and good insulation, you are a fortress. You stay. But here is the variable that changes everything: the grid vulnerability profile. If you are in a region like Texas or the Southeast, where homes are not winterized and the grid is isolated, you treat a freeze warning like a hurricane. You evacuate. The decision isn't just about comfort, it's about your vulnerability profile. Do you have an infant? Do you have an elderly parent on oxygen? If the answer is yes and the power goes out, you are now running a field hospital in a freezer. You leave. Period. Now, I hear the objection already. I see it in the comments every time. Sergeant Miller, you're paranoid. If it gets that bad, the National Guard will roll in with heaters. FEMA will set up warming centres. The government won't let us freeze. Let's dismantle that thinking right now. That is a civilian mindset, and it is fatal. In a regional winter storm, the roads that stop you from leaving are the same roads that stop the National Guard from entering. A light medium tactical vehicle, LMTV, is tough, but it can't drive over a highway clogged with 10,000 abandoned sedans buried under 2 feet of snow. Furthermore, mobilisation takes time. The grid collapses in seconds. The temperature drops in hours. The Guard takes 48 to 72 hours to fully mobilise and reach an affected area. In that gap, you are dead. You are freezing. Your pipes are bursting. The government is a reactive force, not a proactive one. They clean up the mess, they don't prevent the freeze. Relying on them is outsourcing your survival to a bureaucracy that failed to winterise the grid in the first place. You are your own first responder. You've made the call. It's Friday morning. The storm is due Saturday night. This is your golden hour. The goal is to make the escape boring. You want to be driving on dry pavement at 65 miles per hour, listening to a podcast, sipping coffee. If your knuckles are white and you're fighting the steering wheel, you waited too long. Pack the car the night before, but listen to me. Do not look like a refugee. If you are loading giant totes and jerry cans of fuel in broad daylight, you are signalling panic to your neighbours. You want to look like you're going on a weekend trip. Low profile, grey man. The destination matters. You aren't driving into the woods to build a bushcraft shelter. You are driving to a motel 200 miles south, or a relative's house outside the freeze zone. You are trading tactical disadvantage for strategic distance. Your vehicle is your life raft, but a standard sedan is not winter ready by default. Let's talk fluids. If you are from the south, your windshield washer fluid is likely rated for plus 32 degrees. It will freeze in the lines and burst your reservoir. You need to drain it and replace it with minus 20 degree rated fluid. Fuel. You never drop below half a tank. In a freeze, condensation forms in the empty space of your gas tank. That water drops to the bottom, freezes, and blocks your fuel line. Game over. You need a dedicated winter kit. I don't mean a granola bar and a blanket. I mean a sleeping bag rated for 0 degrees. If you slide into a ditch in a blizzard, the tow truck isn't coming for 3 days. You live or die based on the insulation you have in that cab. Throw in a bag of kitty litter or sand, not for the cat, but for traction under your tyres when you hit ice. And a metal shovel. Plastic snaps in sub-zero temps. If you have to dig out your exhaust pipe to keep from gassing yourself with carbon monoxide, you need metal. The route you pick determines if you make it. GPS apps are designed for speed, not survival. They will route you onto elevated flyovers and massive interchanges to save 2 minutes. In a winter storm, these are kill zones. Bridges freeze before roads. The air flows under the bridge, cooling it from all sides. A wet road becomes a sheet of black ice on a bridge instantly. If you get stuck on an elevated highway, you are trapped. You can't go off-road, you can't turn around. You are exposed to the wind chill, suspended 100 feet in the air. We saw this in Atlanta a few years back. Thousands of people trapped on the interstates. Your SOP for winter routing is: stay low. Surface streets or highways that run at grade level. Avoid the mixmasters and high stacks. If traffic stops, you want the option to drive over the median or onto the shoulder and exit the kill box. On a bridge, you are a sitting duck. If you miss the golden hour and you are forced to drive in the slick, you need to change your driving style. It's not about going slow, it's about space management. You need a 360-degree buffer. Most drivers stare at the bumper in front of them. You need to be looking 15 seconds down the road. If you see brake lights a quarter mile ahead, you take your foot off the gas now. Do not touch the brake. In ice, the brake pedal is the lose control button. You want to coast to a stop. And look at the other drivers. That guy in the 4x4 pickup truck doing 70 because he thinks four-wheel drive defies physics. He is a projectile. He is going to spin. Stay away from him. Keep an escape route open. Never pull up right on the bumper of the car in front of you at a stoplight. Leave a car length. If someone slides up behind you out of control, you need room to pull forward or to the side. Always have an out. Maybe you can't leave the city. Maybe the storm hit faster than predicted. Your golden hour is gone. Now you shift to micro-evacuation. This is moving inside the city to a better position. This is where you call that friend who has the wood stove. You do this immediately. You don't wait until the roads are impassable. You pack your go bags, you load the car, and you move 3 miles to the hardened location. This is a force multiplier. 2 families in one house means more body heat, consolidated food supplies, and a watch rotation. But this requires social capital. You can't just show up. This conversation needs to happen in October, not February. Hey, if the grid goes down, we're coming to you, and we're bringing 50 pounds of food and a propane heater. That's the deal. You bring assets, not just appetites. If you are the one with the hardened house, you need to be ready to turn people away if they are a liability, or integrate them if they are an asset. But moving to a single hardened point is superior to suffering alone in a dark apartment. If you are stuck in your home and the power dies, your strategy shifts to the warm room. Do not try to heat the whole house. That is a waste of thermal energy. Pick one room, ideally internal, no large windows, low ceilings. Bring everyone in there. Mattresses on the floor. Build a tent inside the room, literally. Set up a camping tent on top of the mattresses. The body heat of 3 or 4 people inside a small tent can keep the internal temperature 20 degrees higher than the room. This is thermodynamics. Cover the windows with heavy blankets or even bubble wrap taped to the glass. It acts as an insulator. Seal the cracks under the doors. You are building a submarine inside your house. Life happens in the warm room. You sleep there, you eat there. You only leave to use the bathroom or fetch supplies. The rest of the house is the exterior. It is dead space. Let it freeze. Drain your pipes so they don't burst and retreat to your citadel. Here is where the tragedy happens. People get cold and they get stupid. They bring the charcoal grill inside. They run the generator in the attached garage. They turn on the gas oven and leave the door open. This is suicide. Carbon monoxide, CO, is the silent killer of the grid-down winter. It has no smell, no colour. You just get a headache, then you get sleepy, and then you don't wake up. If you are using any combustion heater, propane, kerosene, wood, you must have a battery-operated CO detector. Not the hardwired one in your ceiling, that one might be dead. A portable one. Place it at sleeping height. If you don't have safe heat, use body heat and layers. You can survive 3 days in a 40-degree room with sleeping bags. You cannot survive 3 hours with a charcoal grill in the living room. Do not let desperation override physics. If you are cold, do jumping jacks. Drink warm water. Do not burn poison in your sealed bunker. When the power goes, the water treatment plants often fail. Pumps need electricity. Or the pipes in the ground freeze and burst. You will lose water pressure. Before the pressure drops, you have a brief window, maybe an hour, to fill everything. Fill the bathtub. That's 50 to 80 gallons of water. It's not for drinking, it's for flushing toilets. Hygiene prevents disease. For drinking, you should have stored water. But if you didn't prep, fill every pot, pitcher, and bottle you own immediately when the lights flicker. If the pipes freeze, you might be surrounded by snow. Can you drink it? Yes, but you have to melt it. Do not eat yellow snow, obviously, but more importantly, do not eat frozen snow. It lowers your core body temperature. It burns calories you can't spare. You must melt it and boil it. Snow is dirty. It picks up atmospheric pollutants. Filter it if you can. Boil it if you can't. But melting snow takes a massive amount of fuel. It is an energy-negative activity unless you have a wood stove. Store liquid water now. Cold weather increases your caloric needs. Your body is a furnace. It needs fuel to generate heat. Shivering burns massive amounts of energy. In a grid-down freeze, you don't need salad. You need fats and carbs. You need comfort food. This is psychological as much as physiological. A hot meal can save morale when the walls are closing in. But how do you cook it? If you have an electric stove, it's a paperweight. You need a camping stove. Jet boil, propane burner, butane catering stove. Use it near a ventilated window. But look at your food stocks. Do you have foods that require 20 minutes of boiling water? That wastes fuel. You want quick cook foods. Couscous, instant oatmeal, canned chili. Things that just need heating up, not cooking from raw. If you are trying to boil dry beans in a survival situation, you are wasting precious propane. Think efficiency. Eat the perishable food in the fridge first, then the freezer, then the shelf-stable stuff. The cold does something to the human mind. It slows it down. It breeds apathy. There is a phenomenon where hypothermia victims start to feel warm right before they die, and they strip off their clothes. That's terminal burrowing. But even before that, there is a lethargy. You don't want to get out of the sleeping bag to check the pipes. You don't want to go outside to clear the exhaust vent. You have to fight this. You need a schedule. Wake up, check the team, check the house, hydrate, eat. Forced activity keeps the blood moving and the mind sharp. And you have to manage the family. Your kids will be scared. The house is dark, cold, and silent. You cannot just sit there staring at the wall. Play cards, tell stories, keep the morale high. Fear is a calorie burner. Stress weakens the immune system. You need to be the anchor. If you crack, they crack. You need to project calm, even if you are terrified. After 48 hours, the social contract starts to fray. The neighbour who laughed at your generator is now knocking on your door. Hey, can I just charge my phone? Can I get some hot water? This is the hardest part of the protocol. You have to decide your boundaries now. If you let them in, do they bring food? Do they bring sickness? Do they ever leave? If you have a generator running, it screams, "I have resources." In a city, that noise is a beacon. Sound discipline matters. Run the generator only when necessary to charge batteries or cool the fridge, then kill it. Don't run it 24/7. Chain it down. People will steal a generator while it is running. I've seen it. If you have light when everyone else is dark, black out your windows. Do not advertise your warmth. You want to be just another dark house on the block. The moment you become the provider for the neighbourhood, your supplies will vanish in hours. When the grid goes down, the cell towers usually have battery backups for about 4 to 8 hours. After that, they die. Your internet is gone. The cloud is gone. All those YouTube videos on how to fix a pipe or how to treat frostbite are inaccessible. You are blind. You need a system that works when the world stops. This is the second critical feature of protocol survival. The app has an offline mode. It allows you to sync your entire survival plan, your inventory, your medical guides, and your maps directly to your device's local storage. When the signal bars hit 0, your data is still there. It turns your phone into a standalone survival library. You don't need a server to tell you how to survive. You need the data in your hand right now. Don't rely on a connection that won't exist. Download Protocol Survival, sync your library, and secure your intel before the towers fail. The storm passes, the sun comes out, the temperature rises. You survived the freeze. But now comes the second disaster, the thaw. When thousands of frozen pipes across the city suddenly melt, they burst. Water pressure plummets again, buildings flood, electrical systems that were frozen now get wet and short out, causing fires. The grid trying to restart can cause power surges that fry your electronics. Do not rush to turn everything on the second the power company gives the all clear. Unplug your sensitive electronics. Wait for the grid to stabilise. Watch for water leaks in your ceilings. The damage from the thaw is often more expensive than the damage from the freeze. And the roads? They will be potholed wrecks. The supply chain will take weeks to recover. Just because the snow is melting doesn't mean the emergency is over. Keep your rationing protocols in place until the grocery stores are actually stocked. Let's run the protocol one last time. 1. Monitor the grid signals and forecasts, not just snow, but duration and infrastructure stress. 2. Determine your vulnerability profile. If you are electric dependent, you are leaving. 3. Execute the golden hour departure 24 hours before the precipitation. Leave when it's boring. 4. If you stay, harden one room, the warm room. Tent inside. 5. Water reserves filled immediately. 6. Carbon monoxide discipline. No indoor combustion without detectors. 7. Grey man profile. Don't advertise your heat. This is a repeatable, logical process. It removes the panic. It removes the guesswork. You aren't hoping to survive. You are executing a plan. I want to leave you with this thought. When you look at your family, you see the people you love. But in a crisis, they look at you and they see their protector. They trust you. That trust is a heavy weight. It is the weight of knowing that if you fail to plan, they are the ones who suffer. The cold is indifferent. It doesn't care if you're a good person. It only respects physics and preparation. The guilt of watching your child shiver because you were too lazy to buy a sleeping bag or too proud to leave town early. That is a guilt that never leaves you. Don't let that happen. The golden hour is your gift. It is the time the universe gives you to change your fate. Use it. Do not squander it on denial. We build these cities to defy nature. We pump heat into the sky and light into the dark. But the grid isn't what keeps the cold out. The grid is just a temporary truce with the elements. When that truce breaks, and it always does, the only thing keeping the monster away is you. Stay alert. Stay warm. Protocol out. I want to circle back to one specific nightmare scenario. The failed exit. You waited too long. You decided to leave when the snow started sticking. Now you are on the interstate. Traffic has stopped. It's been stopped for 4 hours. The temperature is 10 degrees. You are running the engine to stay warm, but your gas gauge is dropping. You have a quarter tank. What do? This is where people die. The official advice says stay with your vehicle. Generally, that is correct. But if you run out of gas, that car is a metal coffin. It has zero insulation. You need to make a decision while you still have fuel. Can you exit? Can you reach a building? If you are truly stuck, you need to consolidate. If there are other cars, talk to them. 4 people in one car generate more heat than 1 person in 4 cars. Share the fuel, share the body heat. It's an uncomfortable conversation, but isolation is death. Do not let the battery die. Run the car for 10 minutes every hour. Clear the exhaust. But the real lesson here? Never be in that car. The golden hour prevents the traffic jam. For my urban listeners, the apartment complex dynamic is unique. In a freeze, the fire alarms will go off constantly. Burst pipes trigger the sensors. The system malfunctions. You will hear sirens and alarms for 48 hours straight. It is psychological warfare. You cannot evacuate every time the alarm goes off if the hallways are flooded. You need to assess the threat. Smell for smoke. Check the door for heat. But understand that the fire department might not come. In a widespread freeze, the hydrants are frozen. The trucks can't navigate the ice. A fire in a high-rise during a grid-down freeze is a catastrophic event. This is why you never use candles. One tipped candle in Unit 4B can burn down the whole building because there is no water pressure to stop it. Use battery lanterns, headlamps, glow sticks. No open flames. If you smell smoke and it's real, you evacuate immediately, regardless of the cold. Better to freeze outside than burn inside. We talk about layering clothes. Base layer, insulating layer, shell. But you need to layer your environment too. Look at your windows. Glass is a thermal hold. At night, cover them with whatever you have. Cushions, spare mattresses, cardboard. Create dead air space. If you have a tent, put it on the bed. Put blankets over the tent. You are creating microclimates. It's like Russian nesting dolls of heat. The smaller the volume of air you have to heat, the easier it is. Don't try to heat the room, heat the person. If you have a dog, the dog goes in the sleeping bag with you. That's a 101-degree heater. Use it. Cold weather survival is about retaining energy, not creating it. Every calorie of heat your body produces is precious. Don't let it radiate into the drywall. Nobody likes to talk about this, but we have to. Toilets. If the water stops, you get one flush, maybe two. After that, do not keep using the toilet. It will clog, back up, and you will have raw sewage in your home. This is a biohazard. If the water is gone, you line the toilet bowl with a heavy-duty trash bag. You do your business in the bag. You cover it with kitty litter or sawdust or dirt to manage the smell. You seal the bag and move it outside. This is non-negotiable. Dysentery and cholera killed more soldiers in history than bullets. In a grid-down scenario, hygiene is your first line of defence against infection. Have a supply of contractor bags and hand sanitizer. If you get sick with a stomach bug while dehydrated and freezing, your chances of survival drop to near zero. Keep it clean. When the lights finally come back on, there is a euphoria. But watch out for the rebound effect. You will be exhausted. Your adrenaline will crash. This is when accidents happen. You slip on the remaining ice. You cut yourself trying to open a can. Take it slow, recover your gear, clean your equipment immediately. Don't throw the wet tent in the closet, it will rot. Dry it out. Refill the gas cans. Restock the pantry. Because here is the truth. The grid is fragile. Just because it held this time doesn't mean it holds next time. Every storm is a rehearsal for the next one. Learn from what went wrong. Did you run out of coffee? Did the kids freeze? Did you panic? Conduct an after-action review, AAR, with your family. Be honest about your failures. Fix them. You are the Sentinel. While the rest of the world is swiping through TikTok, you are watching the dew point. While they are panic buying bread, you are topping off your fuel stabilizers. It's a lonely job. People will call you crazy. They will call you paranoid. Let them. You don't do this for their approval. You do it so that when the darkness falls, your home is a beacon of safety for the people you love. That is the mission. End of file.